everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums. This is the second in a series on how to make the mini album I made using Charlotte's Friends from Country Craft Creations. This is a part of the tutorial where I show you how to make the features for all the pages. There is part 1, which is the walkthrough. There's part 2, which is how to make the cover, and this is how to do the features. I don't show you exactly how to cover with the decorative paper, but I cut everything 1/8 of an inch smaller, so I have a small 1/16 of an inch border for everything. I show you different things such as how I cut the different labels and all that. And then again, I'm not sure if it's going to be in this video or if I'm going to need another one. I also show you how I decorate the cover and make the add the buttons to the photo mats. So let's get started on making the album. All right, so as I said, I already have a video with the cover, but I'll let you know the measurements. The book cover, so you'll need 2 pieces of chipboard that are 9 by 7. The spine is 9 by 3. We're going to have 5 pages, and they're going to be L pages. We're not going to have a hinge per se. The pages will measure 8 1/8 up and down, so I can take advantage of 8 by 8 paper, and 6 5/8 across. So we're going to start decorating the book. We'll start with the inside front cover, do the base pages, and then do the back cover, and then we will be one by one adding elements to the base pages. So let's get started. Okay, so the inside front cover is going to have a small waterfall. So you will need 4 pieces of cardstock that measures 5 by 6.5. You will need 1 piece of cardstock that is 2 7/8 by 6, and 1 piece that's 6.5 by 12. I mean, it's left over. I didn't cut it down. I'll cut it down after we add the waterfalls to it. So let's start with the 4 pieces that are 5 by 6.5. We'll put the 5 inside at the top of the scoreboard, and we're going to score at 1/2 inch. We'll do that to all 4 pieces, and we are not going to miter after we're done, but we will fold and burnish. So we have those 4. And then this piece, the 2 7/8 by 6, I'm going to put it on the scoreboard. I'm going to score it at 1 and at 1 1/4. I tend to find if I decorate my waterfalls front and back, they get a little bulky. So I like to have a 1/4 inch gusset there just to allow for photographs. All right, so I'm going to fold and burnish on the score lines. I'll put this one aside, and I'll fold and burnish on these score lines. I'm going to put this on its side, and I will add glue. Burnish this again. But we'll add glue to the tab and put it on this 6.5 by 12 inch piece, lining the top up. So the fold part's going to go down, and we'll line that to the very top. Now, once I line it to the top, I'm going to make sure that my sides are even also. So there's one. I'll open that up and line the next one. The top of this, the folded edge, will go right up against the bottom of the previous one. So I'm going to cut this 1/2 inch from the bottom flap. And then I'll cut it. So now we will take this piece and we're going to center it. I'm just eyeballing it. And I will glue that down on the bottom underside of that tab. I'm going to make sure this is centered. I have 1 3/4 there. I need to move it up 1/16 of an inch. I would have thought it had to go the other way, but there we go. There we go. So we still have the 1/4 inch gusset here. Now, what I decided I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to be using this bunny on the waterfall. Do I want to bring them down? No, I really want them up a little bit. I want them centered on this page. So, and so knowing that this bunny is going to be here, I'm going to put him on a piece of cardstock and then adhere him, put magnets on it. But this has that blue twill, what do you call it, background. So I cut this piece, which has the kitty cats and cars on it, just because I like this as the background piece. So I'm going to take this piece, I'm going to glue this on the paper, on the inside front cover. Since the page is 9 by 7, I cut this 8 7/8 by 6 7/8. I'm going to use just the plain side, not the one with the kitty cat cars, just because you're not going to see very much of it. I like to go about 1/8 of an inch around the perimeter, and then I fill it in, and there should be a 1/16 of an inch margin on top, bottom, and the two sides. So once you get it in, put it down and burnish. That'll help distribute the glue and just get a good stick. And then we will center this. Well, actually, I'm going to put it down a little bit because I'm going to make the top a tuck spot. So what we'll do is turn this over. I'm going to add glue on the side, the bottom, and the other side. So the two sides and the bottom. Try to keep it fairly close to the edge so you can add in something and tuck something in. So I will go around the side, the bottom, and that side. And I'm not going to add anything big, so actually you could glue it a little more. I'm going to put it down, justify it to the bottom. So I'm about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom and 1/4 inch side to side. Once I like how it looks, I'll go ahead and burnish. Burnish there, burnish there. So I'm not really going to decorate the book right now. I am just, I just decorated this because I wanted to make sure we could get this in. And then, like I said, this is going to go here. So see, the background looks nice on that background. So I'll just put this aside for later and try to remember not to use it again. And then let's do the base pages next. All right, we're going to do the base pages next. So for that, you're going to need 4 pieces that are 12 inches by 8 1/8. You'll need 5 pieces that are 9 1/8 by 5, and 1 piece that is 8 1/8 by 7 3/8. Let's start with the 4 pieces that are 12 by 8 1/8. We're going to put the 12-inch side at the top of the scoreboard. and we're going to score at 1/2 inch, 3/4, and then we're going to move over and score at 7 3/8. So we'll do that with all 4 pieces. As I said, these are going to be L pages. So what will happen is this 1/2 inch will attach right to the spine of the book. That 1/4 inch between we do 1/2 inch and then 3/4. This 1/4 inch is going to allow it to move, so it will just flow a little easier. 7 3/8, and then one more. And we're not going to miter these, but we are going to work on burnishing on the score lines. 7 3/8. Okay. This one piece that is 8 1/8 by 7 3/8, we're going to score just at 1/2 inch and at 3/4. This is going to be the last page. I want to treat it a little different. Now these pages, these papers that are 9 1/8 by 5, we're going to make pockets of these, sort of. We're going to score it at 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to rotate it again. We're going to have the long side at the top, scored at 1/2 inch, rotate it, score it at half. So I'll show you again. The long side's at the top, score it at 1/2 inch, rotate it completely around, long side at the top again, score at 1/2 inch. So we'll do that with all 5 of these pieces. Now you also might want some kind of circle punch or a tab punch. Let me show you. Oh, thumb notch punch, like this. If you have it, a circle punch works fine. I'm going to have a notch because it's going to be a pocket and we're going to have a fun element with this pocket. Okay, so there's going to be 2 different ways of putting it together. We have 4 that are going to be the same, and then that one for the last page will be a little different. So let's first take and fold and burnish on our score lines. And as I said, we're not going to miter the corners of this. Now I want you to fold and burnish this both ways, because since this is the hinge mechanism, I want it to be able to fold. I'm going to make sure that the edges are all lined up here. And actually, I'm going to fold this both ways too. But this flap will go down facing your surface. Now this one, we can miter the corners. So we'll fold and burnish on our score lines. This is going to be an up and down pocket. I'll show you what I mean in a second. So to miter, I'm going to put my scissors right there on the score line. I guess I could have done it before I burnished, but you know, I'll just get into a rhythm. So we'll just cut these. Now, even though I'm going to tell you not to glue something down, you're going to think I'm wrong. I'm not. And it will be clear. It will be clear. I'm going to burnish this one more time just to get a good fold on it. Okay, so since we started with 9 1/8, scored at 1/2 inch on both sides, we have an 8 1/8, which is the height of this piece. So what we're going to do is take one edge of this piece. Of course, I have the 2 fold lines facing me, the 2 score lines. We're going to adhere this right up to this second score line. We're going to glue the tabs top and bottom. You could, if you want to, notch this first. I guess I could. So it's 8 1/8, so that means 4 1/16 is my center. 4 and 1/16 is my center. Hopefully that's straight. If not, you know what? Not the first time I've been wrong. Okay, let's add glue to our tabs. Don't add glue to the side. This is where you're going to think, wait, you're wrong, you forgot something. No. All right, so I'm going to again line this up to that second score line. I'm a little bit on the right side of that score line. So I'll put that down and burnish. So it's open here. And I want it to be open for a little bit. So this is going to attach to our spine. It's actually going to go this way the first couple. And then you turn it over and then we have a flap. Now we're going to treat the flap, we're going to decorate the pages differently. But this is our base page, so we're going to make 3 more like this. We're also going to take the one piece that was the smaller piece, 7 3/8 by 8 1/8. We'll fold and burnish on the score lines. Fold and burnish on, wait, let's, oh, I caught myself. Let's miter on these corners for this pocket. Do you have to miter the corners? I know people tell you you should. Do I always? Sometimes I get ahead of myself and I forget. Then we'll fold and burnish on the score lines. And we'll adhere this the same way we did the other one. Yeah, you notice I forgot to do the little notchy thing. That's okay. So there is a second score line. That I'm going to make sure I am right to the right of and burnish. And the reason we have this, so this is again the pocket, I'll put a little notch in it, but you turn it over and there's not a flap. I didn't want a flap on the last page because we're going to have a waterfall on the last page, so we're going to do a different feature than that flap feature. So let's do the other 3 and then we will move on to the next step. All right, so here I have all 5 of my pages ready, and the only thing you need to know is this one that doesn't have a flap is page 5. And so let's do that. Let's go ahead and put the number on the pages because we're going to decorate first and then add them to the book. So page 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so now that that's done, I will go ahead and put these aside and we'll work on the inside back cover. Okay, so we are going to have portrait style waterfall. It's just going to have a couple of pages in it for the inside back cover. So you will need 3 pieces that are 6 3/4 by 5 1/2. You will need 1 piece that's 6 3/4 by 6 1/2. And then 1 piece that's 4 1/8 by 3 7/8. Let's do this. 4 1/8 by 3 7/8. We'll put on our scoreboard and we'll score at half and at 3/4. I had to double check. Half and 3/4. The other pieces, so the 6 3/4 by 5 1/4, the three of them. You'll put, I'm sorry, 5 1/2. You'll put the 5 1/2 side at the top and score it half on all three of those. And the 6 3/4 by 6 1/2, we will score also at 1/2 inch. Did I need to score this one? No. Fold and burnish on score lines. And this last piece, no, we did not need to score, but you know what? Since we did, not going to hurt anything. So I'm going to fold the piece in, put the tab to the left side of the page, make sure the bottom and top are lined up, and then burnish to adhere. We'll open that up, take the next one, we'll fold the tab in, add glue to our tab, line this up with the bottom, or the to the right, to just the very right, line up the top and bottom, and burnish. And we'll do that one more time. I'm going to turn this over and burnish. Okay, so now we have this piece, which we have the 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch score lines. I'm going to take this one, and this is going to go onto the right side. So I will line it up. Let's see where it needs to be. So I have 1 1/4. One and a quarter. You're just going to have the 1/2 inch tab folded over. So I'm just gluing that 1/2 inch tab down. So we still have the 1/4 inch showing here. We'll burnish. And so when you add a magnet, try to make this 1/4 inch gusset straight up and down. So because once we add papers, it'll want to just, it allows room for bulk. Now, again, in the same way I coordinated the papers, I've decided I'm going to use this frog. He's going to close out the book, so he's going to go on there. And so because he's got that green background, I'm going to put that down. I cut the green background to 5 7/8 by 8 7/8. So I'll put this on. Yes, I know. You could put it this way, facing up, if you wanted to. And if you wanted to, you could ink around the edges. That I use a brown. I might use like a putty color. Whatever you want to use if you want to ink. So I'll go ahead and put this down, making sure there is a 1/16 of an inch all around. I can go ahead and glue our cute little froggy down. Love this paper too. And you get two pieces of it. One has the cut aparts. I almost was going to use it in the cover, but I decided not to. So this is going to fit. I am not going to use this as a tuck spot because by the time you get to this page in the book, you probably have run out of photos. You could, though, if you want to just glue it and have the top a tuck spot or even out the side. And if you want, you can just glue it on 3 sides and reserve the right to make it a tuck spot just like this. and center it on the page. All right, so there we go with that part of the book. Now we're going to start working on the base pages and adding different features to them. All right, we're going to attach the features to the front of page 1. So you'll need a piece that's 3, it's just about 3, it was from the scraps, by 9 1/8. So it was 3 by 12, and I cut it down to 9 1/8. And then there's another piece we need that's 5 1/4 by 8 1/8. And again, this was from scraps. The 3 by 9 1/8, we're going to score on 2 short sides and 1 long side. So I'll put the 9 1/8 side at the top, score, rotate so the 3 and whatever is at the top, and score at 1/2 inch, rotate and score at 1/2 inch. When I say score, if I don't say a different measurement, I mean score at 1/2 inch. And then this other piece, we're simply going to put the 5 1/4 side. Did I say 5 1/8? 5 1/4 at the top and score at 1/2 inch. I'm going to go ahead and grab the piece for the back of page 1. It's again from the scraps, so it measures 3 7/8, and then I cut it down to 8 1/8. We're just going to simply score it at 1/2 inch. Move this out of the way. I'm going to take this piece for the back, miter on the corners, score and burnish on the fold line. So yeah, this is a dress your craft pencil bone folder, and you can use it to score as well as a stylus for your scoreboard. I'm going to put this aside, and I will miter on these corners. So I'm letting my scissors go right to where that fold is, whoops, and cut. And then do the opposite side and cut. And I'm going to fold and burnish. I do like using this bone folder to burnish as opposed to the pencil one, but you know what? If you have it in your hand, sometimes you just use it. So this one, we're going to miter up here at the top on both sides. And then here we've got the X caused by our score line, just cut straight across the center of the X. And we will fold and burnish on the score lines. All right, let's grab the book or the page. So this is the front of page 1 we're going to work with right now. So what I'm going to do is add some adhesive to this longer tab on the 8 1/8 side. Just the longer one for now. We're going to put it and add it to the top of this page, way over to the left side. Put it on the page, not on the piece below it. All right, we're good there. I'll burnish to distribute the glue and get a good stick. Okay, so now we still have those 2 flaps. What I'm going to do is, are we going to put a paper in here? I'm not positive. So I'm going to add a piece of tape over that. Sometimes I'll use packing tape. Sometimes I'll use, you know, sort of Scotch tape or whatever brand you have. And just put it over there. So what that does is, you know, sometimes when we have a pocket, we don't always cover the whole pocket with pattern paper because you're not going to see what's in there. So if you put a piece of tape, it helps the whatever you have in there in the pocket, it helps it go in and without getting hung up on that bump. And then I'll put adhesive on those two flaps and burnish those. What I like to do is take these corners and sort of push it in just so this comes up just a little bit. Now what I want to do is, so we have this flap. This is going to go in, so we've got this piece that makes a tube. This is going to go inside here, and we're going to glue it down on the bottom. So we're going to put glue on this part of the tab and then sort of lift this up to get it in once we have the glue on there and put it in. So I'll add glue to the tab. I'm going to lift up this, sneak that into the top, and then pull it up, and there we go. And then I'll burnish. I'll open this up and burnish again. Okay, I'm going to add to that design to the front another piece. So we'll take a piece, it's from the scraps, it's 2 7/8. I'm cutting it down to 8 1/8, and with the 2 7/8 side at the top, we'll score at 1/2 inch. I just wanted an additional flap for a decorative feature on here, just to pull it together. You'll see in a second. So I'll miter the corners and fold on the score line. All right, before we put this down though, I'm cutting a piece from the 8x8 pad that's just 1/2 inch. I'm cutting it, it's the one with the blue gingham. And I'm going to put it under here because I want to line it up with this. So I'm just going to line it 1/16 of an inch from the top and from the bottom. And I'm going to make a mark, make sure it's even. There. And I think it's a 3/4 inch circle punch, and I'm going to punch it in the center there. It's a little bit bigger than I needed, but it'll do. I'm going to take this, I'm opening that up. Let me move all my stuff away. And I'm adding glue to the back on the side with the duckies, and I'll put that down. See, it's a little bigger than what I needed. It's okay, it'll work. All right, so now that that's down, then I'll take this piece and put it down to the left of that. Just leave a 1/16 of an inch between the two pieces. Line this up top and bottom. And burnish. So this is actually going to go on the top here, and we're going to put it with paper, and I'm going to put this bunny here. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's got that blue background, so that'll coordinate with the inside front cover. So I'm going to get paper to decorate this. I'm going to decorate it now before we move on. and I'll show you what I've done to decorate. Okay, and so here is the page. I've got this bunny cut out, and then I cut the white cardstock. I just glued this down and cut around it. Before I glued this down, I traced it on a scrap piece of paper and cut that out so I would have something on the back. So that's how I love the bunny on there. Love it, love it, love it. And don't forget, here's the coordinating page that's going to, just so it'll flow nicely. So we've got that blue background. So that'll open like that. That'll open like that. So I decided to keep the blue background so the bunny will show, and then you open it up and it's like, whoa, and there's our kitty cat's driving. And then I love this kitty cat, so she is sitting there writing about all the other kitty adventures. Here is um, uh, the mat inside the pocket, so that goes there. And then that again closes. And then here, I don't know if I'm going to keep this because it's short. I'm going to think about it, but I do want to do something here special where this is. So to be continued. But anyhow, that is decorating the front of page 1. All right, out of my scrap pile, this piece is 3 7/8, and I'm going to cut 5.5 off of that. And I'm just going to make a pocket to put on the outside of this flap. So to make a pocket, oops, I need my scoring tool. I'll put the 5.5 side at the top, score it 1/2 inch, and score at 5. Rotate one time so that 3 7/8 side is at the top, and score it 1/2 inch. And we'll go ahead and miter the corners here. Cut across the X created by the score lines. Fold and burnish on the score lines. Folding's easy. Grab my bone folder to burnish. And then I'm going to adhere the bottom first. It's a little bit smaller than this pocket. This pocket was, I don't know, it just was a little bit bigger. And then I'll add tape here. And then I'll glue these two sides down. And then I have a feature here. I'll add a magnet to the pocket here, but we'll leave this so you can put some nice photos on there. I'm going to decorate the back of page 1 when I decorate the front of page 2. I'm going to move that out of the way for a second. So the front of page 2 is going to have a flap that goes up and a flap that goes down. And these are nice and big so you can put some 4x6 photos on it. So you'll need to cut 2 pieces of cardstock that measures 7 1/4 by 4 3/4. And we're simply going to take the 7 1/4 side, put it at the top of the scoreboard, and score at 1/2 inch. And then I'll go ahead and bring in page 2. Fold. I'm not going to miter. I don't mind having these straight, but fold and burnish on the score lines. And so one will go on the bottom of the page, and I'm going to be about 1/8 of an inch from this pocket on the bottom of the page. So I'll add glue to the tab, put that down, Make sure it's straight. I obviously added too much glue. So I'll clean that. And then this piece we'll put at the top over to the other side. All right, and that's all we need to do. I'll put in a magnet here just to keep it all nice and tight. I'll decorate it and show you what I've got. Okay, I want to cover the photo mat, so I need four, two for each one, one for each side. And the measurement of that will be 4 5/8 by 6 5/8. And I want four for one piece of paper. I mean, in old days, I would have cut 6 5/8 and then cut one and another, and I would be able to get a third one. But you can get four from one page, and the way you can do it is by cutting it like this. This is not my trick. This is an old trick from Michelle of a Creative Operations from Country Craft Creations. She's also a design team member. And so what I did is I know I need 6 5/8 and 5 5/8, so I added them up, which equals 11 1/4. So I'm going to cut this square by 11 1/4. And by the magic of my scoreboard, I can't see it. So I'm just going to make sure that I get 11 1/4. Okay. So I'm going to cut 3/4 off of one side, and then from here 3/4 off of this side. Okay, and then I'm not going to use this trimmer. I'm going to use another trimmer so I can be a little more deliberate in my measurements. So this has a scoring blade. I'm moving that away, and I am going to use this. So I want to cut, I guess I'll cut up, and I need to cut up 6 5/8. That would be, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to put it down at 4 5/8. So 4 5/8. And then I'm going to go up 6 5/8. You know what? It's probably better if I go down from the top because the measurements are there. So 6 5/8 are right here. So I'm going to go down 6 1/2, 6 5/8. I'm going to just measure that just to make sure. In the top, just go a little bit more, and there's 6 5/8. Okay, then I'm going to turn this and put this at 4 5/8 again. It's cutting to the top and go down 6 5/8. And I'll continue until I finish cutting. And I can cut down, and that gives me 4 pieces of paper with a little square left over. So there, just wanted to show you that little trick. So now I have 4 photo mats for the front of page 2. Okay, so I've decorated a little bit, but I have some more to do, but I want to show you first. This is the back of page 1. So we've got the pocket with a good spot to put photos. So there's the pocket. Here are our photo mats, but I thought it was a little bit plain. This cut apart is going to go on the front of the pocket. I will line it with, I'll fussy cut out a little larger piece of our cardstock and put it on there just so it pops. But this still needed a little something. And there's this adorable cut apart, which would be really nice then, but I don't want to glue it right there. You could just glue it, and then when you get the photo, put the photo on there. But I thought I would do a flap instead. So this is 4 1/8 by 4 3/8. I'm going to put the 4 3/8 side at the top and score at 1/2 inch. fold and burnish on the score line. And then we've still got this pocket created, when we originally made the page. So we're going to slip that into the pocket. And then at this opportunity, we can put glue. I'll just glue it here. I'll put glue on both sides, and that will, wait, I don't want to put glue on both sides. I'll put glue here, and then just put a bead of glue here, so that will close the pocket. So I'll add glue here, and then a bead of glue close to the score line there. Open this pocket. And then fold that down like that. Burnish. Whoops. And I don't think I need a magnet, but I'll put this here. I know I have, this will go on the back, and I have a scrap of paper that I'll put here. I don't know where I put it. And I'll show you all decorated when I'm done. So here we have them all decorated, the back of page 1, the front of page 2. So there's a pocket here, and I did cut a piece of cardstock that is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. I'm going to look through and see if I have some My Colors cardstock to coordinate. A pink would be nice, or even a blue, so that it gives you room for photos there. And then the front of page 2. So we have this, and I cut this piece, what is it, about 4/5? About, it's not 3/4, about 11/16 by 4, and that's 3 by 4. It's so cute. And then there we go, that there, that like that, that like that. Don't forget to cut out the circle, because again, that's going to be a design element. I don't have my photo mat for that yet, but I will do that when I get to that. So we're done with page 1. Now we'll work on the back of page 2 and the front of page 3. All right, for the next set of pages, the back of page 2 and the front of page 3, I wanted to use this as a focal point. So what I did is, so we have this flap, and I cut this to fit on that flap, and we'll use the carrot page for the next one. And then I wanted to put this one over here, so the best way to do that is we'll do a belly band, pretty wide belly band. So for that, you'll need a piece of cardstock 3 3/4 by 9 1/8, with the 9 1/8 side at the top, score it 1/2 inch, and then I'm going to simply rotate so the other 9 1/8 is at the top, and score it 1/2 inch. Oops. I will go ahead and miter these corners, center that on here, and put it on. Don't forget to cut your little paper. And then I'm using the carrot paper for the inside of that, for the inside of the pocket, for the inside of the belly band. And then I'm going to do something a little different with this. So let's get the paper on, and then I'll show you what we'll do with that. Okay, so this is what we have so far. I'll put a photo mat in here, and then of course our photo mat with a design feature there. And then this page has that, and then I use the 12 by 12 paper to put in here. And then I thought, instead of doing this way, how about if I do this? Because I mean, that's adorable. It's over here, but you'll open up this page. So how can we use that as a design feature? This is how. I'm going to take this and turn it over, and I've cut a couple of pieces of clear packing tape. Now the packing tape I have is pretty lightweight. I prefer heavyweight, but I don't have it. I'm just going to cover. So I just have over in the center area there. And then I'm going to grab my straight edge knife. I don't know if you see there's a little bit of tape down there. I'm going to cut that off. And I don't want to start at the edge. I'm going to go in about 3/4 of an inch and just follow the outline of Mama Bunny. All right, and then here's what I have. So actually, you can add a photo mat right there. When we glue this down, you're not going to glue around this part. You want to leave that open. So you can actually just leave this in here, glue around the other parts, and then cut a photo mat to go in there. So let me glue it down and I'll show you what I have. So from my scraps, I found a piece of cardstock and I cut it down to 3.5 by 5. So that'll fit behind the mama and baby bunny. And that just makes a nice little place. You can either add a little photo or do some journaling. And then we have this. So I will add some photo mats when I'm all done. And so there is the back of page 2 and the front of page 3. All right, for the back of page 3, front of page 4. The back of page 3, cut a piece of cardstock 3 7/8 by 8 1/8. I'm sure this was left over from cutting the 8 1/8 pieces down. And then score with the 3 7/8 at the top. Score it 1/2 inch. Fold and burnish, miter the corners. So this 1/2 inch tab, I'm going to put over onto, it's the second score line here, not the first, just to the left of the score line. So we'll have 2 flaps on that page. So that's the back of page 3. For the front of page 4, so what I did is I went through my scraps and I found 2 pieces and cut them down to 5.5 by 4, and then 2 pieces that are 5 by 4.5. 5.5 by 4, and 2 pieces 5 by 4.5. The 5.5 by 4, going to take, and with the 5.5 inch side at the top, we'll score at 1/2 inch for both of those. I'm going to just put those aside. And then the 5 by 4.5. With the 5 inch side at the top, score at 1/2 inch and score at 4.5. Rotate. So the 4.5 inch side is at the top, score at 1/2 inch. So I'll do it again. With the 5 inch side at the top, score at 1/2 inch and at 4.5. Rotate. And with the 4.5 inch side at the top, score at 1/2 inch. So you have what looks like a pocket, and we will fold. Well, first we'll miter the corners, and here I'll just miter on the score lines. Oops. So my score lines are going to be on the left side. Let's fold and burnish on these score lines. And then, oh, so I've got this flap, and that's going to go right next to the fold, not over it, just to the right of it. So I'll just add glue to that one tab, put it right next to the fold, And I'll do the same for this one. Just to the right of the fold. I'm grabbing my tape and I'll add that to here. And then we'll glue down the other side flaps. All right, and now these are 4 inches and this page is 8 1/8, so there should be ample room to put these down. I'm going to bunch that. So that can go on that top piece. And you're going to have a 1/16 of an inch in the center here, 1/16 of an inch there, and 1/16 of an inch there. So now if you want, you can add magnets here. You also could round these corners if you want. And so we've got that. So I will decorate this and show you what I've done. All right, so here's what I have so far. So we're using the green check and the paper that goes with it, or the design. So I decided to use this cut apart. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use this one because that's got the green background. You could use that one if you wanted to. I might use him for the cover just because he's so darn cute. But I used this. I thought, this paper is, here, let me open this. Like entering into the house, there's a gate, there's a fence, there's another entrance to a house or to a garden. So I thought having a house would sort of go. And then along those, and then here's the inside there. And then this, of course, I'm going to look and see what my colors cardstock will coordinate. I haven't done that yet. And then I had these cut apart. So I have a bunny going on a picnic and the bunny standing in front of the house. And I have this with a fence and a gate going into a garden. So at first I was going to use this to sort of go with the theme of going into the garden or the house. And then I thought, no, I wanted something with a little more pizzazz. So I decided what I'll probably do is put the bunnies over there. And that sort of coordinates. Now, 2 things. First of all, I have been telling you that what I do is I glue this onto cardstock and fussy cut around it. But it occurs to me there are some people who do not like to fussy cut, or it's not easy on their hands or whatever. So I am taking a distress ink. This one happens to be pumice stone, and I'm just going around it. Now, whatever ink you have, it's a dark gray. You could use a brown. That would work very well with it. I chose a dark gray because that seems to be the color of the distressing that's built into the paper. And that sort of pops it up a little bit as opposed to fussy cutting. So I just wanted to give that as an option for those of you who are either not fond of fussy cutting, or the hands just don't cooperate, or maybe you just want to just uh, hurry up and get it done. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so I will just adhere these to the centers of that. It's cute. The bunnies are so adorable. In the center of this one. Okay, so we've got that, and I'm going to move this out of the way. Let's work on this. So now again, this will open like that, and I do have a little magnet under here and to coordinate over there. Pretty plain. Now you could put some cardstock for photo mats. You could use my colors, or you could use the cream that we used. But I also thought what I would do is take these cut aparts or these labels and put them here as a tuck spot. So actually I'm going to use that there and this over here. So I'm just going to add glue to the bottom of this one. And just glue that down. Grab my bone folder and burnish that. And this one I'm going to put glue at the top. And just center that on this page and burnish. So that will give you a tuck spot at the top. And this one will give you a tuck spot at the bottom. And so there we go. The back of page 3 and the front of page 4. Now this is open here. If that bothers you, then just add a little bead of glue there. It won't bother me because the element that we're going to put here is going to prevent it from going too far. But isn't that a cute page? I think it's adorable. All right, we're moving on. Okay, so for the back of page 4 and the front of page 5, this is my inspiration piece. Love the duckies, they're adorable. And I'm not going to have, actually there's nothing we need to cut as far as cardstock. We're just going to utilize what we have. So I am just going to add blue paper for the inside, the blue check. And on the front here, we're going to have the ducks. And on top of the ducks will be a photo mat and then some of the blue paper. Because of course this guy is going to be here. So just like that. So I'll put a little magnet behind here and then of course no magnet there. And then I'll decorate that with something else in a second. So let me glue all that and show you what I come up with. Okay, so here's what I have. There is the ducky 4x6 photo mat. And then I decided to put the ducks over here on that side. Not sure if that was the best decision because I wanted to use this cut apart. It is, of course, open. So you can put, you know, maybe a photo here and a photo there. I don't know, whatever you want to do. And then on this side, I just put the label up at the top. It's open, of course. And I put a photo mat. This is a 4¼ by 6¼ and that's 4½ by 6½. And of course that is open with our little cutout ready to put something in. So that was pretty simple. Now let's work on the back of page 5. Okay, so here is the back of page 5. Now remember, we didn't include any extra flaps on it because I didn't want to have too many features because we have a waterfall opposite. But I needed something on here. So I'm going to do just a one-piece flap. So this is cut 9 by what? 9 by 6½. And then I'm going to score it at 4½. All right, so I'm just scoring it and folding it in half. And I am going to, on the outside, I cut this. And then for the inside, I'll have these 2 pieces. So I'm going to go adhere that real quick. So I'm going to show you real quick. So I adhered this. This is from a 12 by 12. This is from the 8 by 8. So that's the froggy. And then I've got the green inside. And when I adhered, I'm going to leave it open here. I don't know for sure that I'm going to add something and use it as a pocket. But if I just put the glue around 3 sides, then I have the option of doing that later. So I just add glue around 3 sides. I'll center this on here. And if I decide to make it a pocket, I still can. And the reason I use this paper is because you may remember for the back cover, we already have this frog. So I cut this again from the 8x8, just so it coordinates. So I'm going to glue this down and probably work on this as well. Okay, here's what I have. And it needs something else, so I'm not sure what, but I will figure that out. So we've got that opens to give you room for 2 photo mats. And then of course we had this done previously, and I just added the same paper to the front and then just a 7/8 inch strip of the green pattern paper. So they will coordinate nicely, and I'm glad I left this open. Let me grab a piece of green paper. Oh, that's a big one. But see how it would look nice if I had something sticking out of this pocket. It just would match even better. So I will probably do that. Just make a little tag or something. So you will see that, or will have seen that on the walkthrough. All right, I am going to attach the pages to the book. Normally, I attach the pages to the book and then decorate. This time I decorated the pages. So it's pretty important, as you can imagine, to make sure you have the order correctly. So I know that is the last page, that is the next. Pretty easy because everything is coordinated. But make sure you take the time to make sure you have the pages in order. I also used my T-square and drew a line just about a 1/2 inch from the edge. Now I have 5 pages, so so that means 5 1/2 inch pieces to attach. So that's 2.5 inches if you add that all together. This is 3 inches, so that means I have a 1/2 inch on this side, and I should have 1/2 inch on that side. So I'm in just about 1/2 inch, just a little bit less. So I also want to make sure that I center this top to bottom. I drew a pencil line, but I'm gonna go over it just a little bit. So first thing I'm gonna do is fold this first gusset down. And I'm being fairly generous with the glue, not so it's gonna ooze out, but just so it's gonna stick. And I'm right on that line, so I'm gonna go over it a little bit. And I'm eyeballing it to make sure it is parallel, and that looks pretty good. So now don't forget I have that 1/4 inch gusset just to help the pages turn easy. I'm going to grab my bone folder and I'll burnish. I'll go from the top down. And it's okay if any glue oozes out this way, but I don't want it to ooze out top and bottom. All right, page 1 is in. Pretty happy with it. That looks good. So this will go right up to that last one. So again, I'll add glue. Oops. And put this up right to the edge of that last gusset. And burnish. All right, there we go. Let's go down like that, so I need to fold it this way. I have to think it through a little bit. Okay, number 3. There, I can push it right up against it. I'm going to overlap it a little because there was some of this showing. I don't know why. There we go. Oops. And don't rush ahead because we're going to do something different with the last page. All right, so the last page, we're going to overlap this first one. Oh, so it's not really, there's my math is wrong. So I added up, this one's going to go on top of this last one. Okay, and then we'll burnish. All right, and now I cut some strips of paper. I'll go ahead and cover those 1/2-inch tabs. All right, that's it for this video. I'm going to do another video on decorating the cover and doing the pullouts for the pockets using those buttons as a special feature. So there is a playlist, or I'll list it in the description box. So I'll meet you at the next video. Thanks for watching. See you in a bit.